This is a Yoga for Beginners series, and the goal is to introduce yoga from the bottom up. The idea is that we learn yoga not how it's traditionally taught in gyms and yoga studios, but actually go a little bit deeper, the way that it was traditionally taught in India. Namaste once again. Welcome to this Yoga for Beginners series. My name is 𝗕𝗲𝗴𝗶. Right now, I am in Green Lake, upstate New York. It's very green and it's very rainy today. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it's pouring here. And my experience with yoga is, well, I started about almost 25 years ago, and as an extension of gymnastics, and I just enjoyed the movement, the mindfulness, and that kind of led me to practice yoga over the years, and then eventually I became a yoga teacher, and that's pretty much what I do these days. Yoga for beginners is, I've taught it before, but I thought that I would do an 8-week series because in order to learn the fundamentals, it takes pretty much that much time to kind of review. It doesn't mean that out of this 8-week course, we're going to come out into like acrobatic yogis. That is so not the point. The point is to really understand yoga. And unfortunately, in gyms and yoga studios, there isn't the time and the format to kind of do what we just did, just introduce each other and say hello and stuff. So I really want this course to be experiential. So to really kind of understand some of the concepts and then put them away and let them kind of settle in like sediment trickling down and really feel stuff. So we're going to be covering some theory. Don't worry, it's not like an academic, hardcore academic course, but there is going to be a certain amount of theory because that's what I want you to learn, which you can't learn in the yoga studios in traditional group classes or the gym classes. All right, so we're going to get started, and we first want to focus on how you are sitting, because in order for you to listen and be comfortable, we want to work on our alignment. Let's make sure that we're sitting properly. So I know the lighting in my place right now is not the best, but I hope you can still see that there are cushions here. So we're all gonna sit on something. So I think, Dawn, you're sitting on something. Casey, are you sitting on something? But we want to sit on something kind of firm. So firm cushion or 2 or 3. We will find out in a moment. So I'm just going to go sideways so you can all see my back, the shape of my back. So this is probably one of the best lessons for you at the beginning and end of class, as well as in meditation classes or meditation practice. We sit up straight, typically with our legs crossed. And in yoga, we call this Sukhasana, which means easy pose. But doesn't matter the Sanskrit name. It's just that let's retain the term easy of that pose, easy pose. So if you are sitting up straight and you already notice that you're engaging your core, your abdominal muscles, and your lower back muscles just to sit up straight, you're probably going to get tired in a minute or two, and eventually your spine is going to start rounding and coming into something like this. When we sit like this, which is typically how we sit in our office settings, in most chairs, we end up rounding, especially if we're on our phones or on our keyboards. This means there is a lot of tension being accumulated in the middle of the back. So let's all come off our cushion so we can actually experience what I'm talking about. Now sit on the ground, on the bare floor, and really try to find that perfect yogi kind of alignment, and notice all the muscles that you need to use to keep your alignment. Typically, we focus on the alignment of the ears over the shoulders over the hips. So once we have this perfect position, some of us even have to grab our knees to hold us up. So if we didn't grab our knees, just notice what is happening in the midsection of the body. And if we try to relax it, notice what just happened. All of a sudden, if you just let everything go, this happens. And that's just normal anatomy. So one of the main pillars of yoga is self-awareness, mindfulness. And in this case, it's mindfulness of our spine, spinal integrity, and more particularly, the angle of the pelvis. So right now, if you can bring one of your hands to the small of your back, even further down, so even reaching towards the tailbone, that far down, notice that the tailbone is kind of like tucked in and the lower back is rounded, kind of expressing itself outwards in that direction. So now bring your index fingers to the hip bones, and there you can find where the pelvis starts and it continues all around. So right now, the pelvis has tilted. We call this backwards because the hip bones lift and the tailbone tucks. So it's something like that. So if you now try to correct it, keep your index fingers on the hip bones and thumbs towards the back. If you try to correct that and tilt the pelvis forward, that's where you get that perfect alignment. But this is tiring. How long can you hold this before your core starts to give up? So now relax again and just notice the tilt in the pelvis, how again the tailbone has tucked in and the top of the hip bones have lifted. Now we bring our first cushion, because we might use more than one, and we sit on it, and again we do the same exercise. We bring one hand to the lower back, the tailbone area, and we notice, it seems a little easier to sit like this. Still relax a lot and notice if your spine, especially in the lower back, is still flat, if it's tucked in, so you're arching the spine, or if it's still rounding. If your lower back is still rounding, that's when we need a second cushion. So I'm gonna pile these up. Now I have two. I'm gonna sit on them. I'm gonna still show you sideways. And from here, we revisit that alignment in the spine. Now, in my case, my hips are higher than my knees. So that actually helps my pelvis to tilt forward. That means the tailbone kind of tilts backwards and the front hip bones tilt down. So there's a forward tilt in the pelvis. Then I bring my hand to my lower back and I notice, now I have a natural spine with that natural, gentle, small arch in the lower back. So if this is not enough, we keep piling up. We keep bringing until you find that your pelvic tilt allows you to have a little bit of an arch in the lower back. Typically, this means also your hips are higher than your knees, but it doesn't always have to be. So, are we all comfortable? I think you all look comfortable. Valerie, are you comfortable? Thumbs up. Yes, so this means that you're able to sit up straight without making too much effort or any effort. So this is the entry point, the doorway to a proper spinal alignment. And then if you bring your seat an inch forward, so you're almost coming to the edge of your bolster or your pile of bolsters, you're gonna notice this alignment in the lower back becomes even better. Often when we're sitting smack in the middle of the bolsters, we're still rounding. But if you bring your seat a bit further forward, we gain that proper alignment, and now we can have ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, comfortably. We could sit here watching television or meditating for a long time without it being effortful. All right, so that's Spinal Alignment 101. All right, now that you're all comfortable, I'm going to see a few more things about yoga. So, what is yoga? When did yoga start? This is the good stuff that typically teachers don't have time to talk about in yoga studios. So, the word yoga means union. You probably heard that before, but what exactly does union mean? Well, traditionally, we see ourselves, especially at the origin of yoga, about 2700 BC, and yoga was practiced as very much of a spiritual practice and not so much physical. And here, what especially the monks were trying to do was connect to the divine. So, because it came in from India, where Hinduism was the main religion, yogis still saw themselves as an imperfect beings trying to become enlightened or, more wholesome. And because this happened in India, they also included Hinduism in their practice, where they saw the gods and the deities as the supreme beings and us poor little humans as the imperfect beings. But then yoga, down the line in history, really yogis realized, no, there isn't a need for me to see myself as an imperfect being, so that separation between the gods and the humans, actually that divinity exists inside of us. And so that's where the real term of union means, our connection to everything. We are part of everything, and everything is part of us. We're connected to it all. And that's where union and yoga really means. So that's a nice concept, but in practice, what does it mean? It means that we are able to resurface all of that knowledge and intelligence, that divine energy that exists, and it's already part of us. We just need to rescue it. How do we do that? Through the Eightfold Path. We are able to reach in through yoga, meditation, movement, asana, studying. We're able to tap into that knowledge, into that source, that energy. So yes, it's very deep. Yoga is a very deep practice. A lot of people think it's just about moving, like calisthenics. So union, connection to it all, becoming one with everything. Then that's the overall philosophy. When we're one with everything, when we're able to connect with it all, we feel more balanced. We'll feel more connected. And here is the element of balance that in yoga is called samadhi. You reach samadhi when you've practiced yoga for many years, decades, and you're able to attain that enlightenment, which is temporary, really. It's like that connection to the divine, because as long as we're still human, we're still bound to our physical existence. So that, in a nutshell, is why we practice yoga. So we can connect to it all, and we can become more balanced. We can reach that enlightenment, or moments or glimpses of that enlightenment throughout our lives. So that is why we practice yoga. Of course, there's a physical side. So when you practice certain movements or poses, transitions, we're also releasing tension from the body. We're also calming the nervous system, the heart, the mind, our biochemistry, our hormonal system. Everything starts to slow down and come back to balance, especially during our modern lifestyle, where we're overly stressed, overly stretched out, and our lives just bring us out of balance. So there's a physical element. There is the energetic element of yoga as well. Yoga is deeply rooted in the Eastern philosophy and science of energy, like Qigong, Tai Chi, acupuncture, acupressure, Thai massage. All of them are based on the concept that there is energy that flows throughout our body. When our body is tight, when our muscles are tight, that energy can't flow properly. When we don't breathe properly, the energy doesn't flow properly. And if it doesn't flow properly, our mind is also a little bit stuck in the sense that it's not able to see things clearly, understand things clearly. The ego kicks in, the intellect gets stuck. So the yoga practice also allows us to have a clearer mind and reduce our stress level, bringing us back to balance. So I'm like a broken record. It's about coming back to balance. So in a nutshell, that's what yoga is really about. Bringing ourselves to a state where we're more balanced, more equanimous, we feel better, we breathe better, we move better. It's just life becomes easier. That's why we always say yoga brings us more ease so we can have less dis-ease. All right, so I've been yapping for a good 15 minutes, but I needed to start this first class with this theory. I could talk for hours, but I think that's the essence. A lot of people, most people who go into yoga studios these days, they do it for the physical side, and that's totally fine. Because as they practice, eventually they're going to start noticing other things, other benefits, other transformations, changes and shifts in their being, and not just physical, but also emotional and energetic, spiritual even. So how do we put this into practice in this first class of yoga for beginners? So today we're going to be practicing breath work, which in yoga we use breath work to calm ourselves, to calm the nervous system and calm the energy inside of us. That calms the mind. We're also going to be moving, so we're going to be doing some movements, gentle. So there's going to be a sequence in these 8 classes where we're going to be building on what we do. But today it's going to be mostly on the floor. And we're going to be doing this mindfully. And at the end, we're going to do a brief meditation so that we all feel the challenges, how difficult or easy maybe it is to sit still. There we go. So now that we all have our perfect alignment, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, let's sit on our props. There we go. And slowly we close our eyes. And we lengthen the spine. We focus on the back of the neck, so we keep lengthening the back of the neck upwards while we still root our seat, our sit bones on the cushions. The shoulders are relaxed. And we start to breathe. Close your eyes. I'm going to play a little music, just to accompany us through this journey. And all we need to do right now is stay here in the present. This is already yoga. When we combine breath and mindfulness meaning focused meditation. We're focusing on something, and in this very moment we're focusing on the sensations of the body. So we typically ground ourselves by bringing our awareness to the sensations in the legs and the buttocks, so we can feel the floor beneath us. Notice the sensation of the floor, your mat, whatever you're sitting on. Feel it underneath your seat. The sides of the calves and the ankles touching the floor, the ground, the yoga mat. And we breathe naturally. We haven't changed anything. We're we're just breathing and focusing on those subtle sensations. What is the temperature of this on the skin of your legs? Can you feel all 10 toes? What do the cushions feel like underneath you? So we're focusing inwards, we're focusing on the sensations. Just focusing on sensations already calms the mind, and typically it calms the breath. Unless there's something going on in your legs, your feet, your hips that is distracting you and causing you a source of stress. But if that's not the case, then it's probably a relaxing experience. And we keep moving upwards. So feel now the hands on your knees or your thighs. What does that feel like? Really close your eyes and just feel on the sensations of the hands, the fingers on your legs. The gentle pressure of the weight of the hands on the legs and the exchange of heat. Hands to legs, legs to hands. Bring your awareness to the tops of the hands. What do they feel like? Is there a breeze? Hot, cold, neutral? We keep moving upwards. Bring your awareness to your forearms and your elbows, upper arms. What do they feel like? Bring our awareness to the tailbone, lower abdomen. The belly is relaxed. The contact of your clothes on your abdomen, your waist. Feel the sensation on the ribs of your t-shirt or your whatever clothes you're wearing, over the chest, the side ribs. Can you even bring your awareness to the sensation of the t-shirt on your back, the space between the shoulder blades? As you breathe naturally, maybe you feel that contact with the t-shirt, whatever the fabric of whatever you're wearing. Now bring your awareness to the back of the neck. Can you lengthen the back of the neck upwards a little bit more? Back of the head also keeps lifting upwards, crown of the head. Now bring your awareness to your face. Can you relax your forehead a little more? Can you relax your eyebrows, your eyelids, the eyes inside the eye sockets, the cheeks, the nose, the lips, the mouth, the cheeks, the tongue, the jaw, the throat, the chest, heart center. Now can you bring your awareness to it all? Start adding more body parts, and can you tune into the sensations in many or all parts of the body? Maybe you can hear your heartbeat, you can maybe feel it. Maybe food churning inside your belly. Maybe tingling sensations all over the skin. Just breathe here. Keep practicing this awareness, this self-study, which in yoga we call svadhyaya. In yoga, there's a system to study yoga and understand, which is called the eightfold system or path of yoga. Like 8 pillars. the first two pillars, the yamas and the niyamas. Don't worry about the names. Let's just think that these are two categories of observances. A little bit like what to do and what not to do. And within the to do, the recommended observances is self-study. Understanding ourselves. That also includes connecting to ourselves, and our sensations are a part of ourselves. So that's what we're practicing right now. We're trying to calm the mind, the monkey mind, and just focus on the sensations of the breath and your being. We haven't changed our breath yet. That's the next step, so keep tuning inwards, the limbs, the spine, the skin. Now we're going to start modifying our breath to try to bring our exhales as long as our inhales. We call this pranayama. It's the movement of the energy or the balancing of the energy. That's what pranayama means. So let's all inhale through the nose to the count of 3. Inhale for 1, feel the chest expand. Then 2, the rib cage expands. 3, the belly, sides, and back expands. Top of the breath. Exhale through the nose for 3, 2, 1. We're going to continue like this, few more rounds. Keep focusing inwards as you inhale for 1, 2, 3. Feel your lungs, your chest, your ribs expand in all directions. Top of the breath. Exhale through the nose for 3, 2, 1. Few more rounds like this on your own. Deep inhales. Complete exhales. Noticing how when we balance our inhales to exhale ratio, we're able to calm the heartbeat and calm the mind, feeling a little more relaxed, a little more in peace with ourselves. The risk of becoming too relaxed is that we lose our alignment and we start to round forward. So catch yourself if that was the case. So we want to keep focusing on the alignment of the spine. So that leads me to the next topic, the spine. Why is spinal alignment so important? And Valerie, you just felt some neck tightness. That's your body talking to you. So that's part of your self-study. Noticing that when you sit still, you're able to pick up what's going on with your body that needs more attention. So coming back to the spine, why is the spine so important? So as I was talking about before, keep breathing while I explain this. You could just hear me kind of in the background, but really continue focusing on your breath and your sensations. So the spine in yoga is considered the main line of energy. As we talked about before, yoga is also based on the physical, and within the physical, we've got energy running through our being. This energy, they say, has 72,000 lines of energy in our body. The yogi gurus drew these complex maps of energy channels running through our entire body. And this energy also flows outwards. It can even go beyond our physical existence into space. Some people call this aura. Other people call this electromagnetic fields, as modern science has proven. But of all 72,000 energy channels, the most important one, the strongest one, is called Brahma Nadi. You don't have to retain the name, just remember that there's a line of energy that runs like a highway of energy up and down from the tailbone, perineal body, all the way up to the crown of the head. All 7 chakras are positioned along this energy channel. So when there's blockages in these chakras are energy centers where lots of nadis, lots of meridians cross. When there's blockages in different parts of the spine energetically or physically, then the energy can't flow. That's where we have more dis-ease, that's where the mind can't see things that clearly. And that's where yoga helps us to liberate that tension that exists throughout the spine and other parts of the body. Our modern day posture, as we use or overuse our screens, our phones, it's making our alignment worse and it's creating more tension in our spine. That's why we need yoga even more. All right, let's all change the crossing of the legs, bringing the other leg in front so that our knees are equally stretched, our hips are equally stretched. If you need to stretch a leg, of course you can do that. In my classes, there's no yoga police. If you need to alter or modify your seat, please do that. All right, so we've talked about the spine, we've talked about the body, we've talked about tension and blockages. So once we continue breathing this cadence of breath in and out, we've tuned inwards, that's when we can start moving mindfully. So we're going to do something that we call cats and cows, which focus exactly on the spine, so we can start creating more mobility, stretching the spine and helping us to release the tension and the tightness, especially through the spine and the muscles and joints along the spine. So how do we start? We sit up straight as we have been doing until now. We lengthen the spine. On the inhale, we're going to lift the chin up, broaden the chest, bring our shoulders back to shine our chest and our bellies. The tailbone also tucks backwards, so really arching our spine, but notice your range. Notice what's safe for you today. Don't go beyond that range. On the exhale, we do the opposite. We start to round the spine by pulling the belly in, bringing the chin to chest, and lifting the pelvis, the tailbone. Shoulders broaden, shoulder blades away from each other. That's what we call a cat. We come back to cow, reversing, coming through neutral, then lift the chin, shoulders back, tailbone back, belly and chest, ribs forward, top of the breath. Exhale, pull the belly in, start rounding the spine. Feel the broadening of the shoulder blades. I'm going to go sideways so you can get a side visual. Inhale into cow. Shoulders, tailbone go back. Chin up any amount. Belly drops. Top of the breath. Exhale. Pull the belly in. Chin to chest. Contract the abdomen. Lift the tailbone. Continue like this on your own. Mindfully with equal inhales to exhales, and as we repeat this, close your eyes and just continue feeling. We really want to study the experience. We want to understand what's happening as we start to warm up the spine. Notice that when you contract one part of the torso, the opposite side stretches. Then when you contract the other one, the back stretches. So we're tapping into both front and back, bringing them both back to balance. going to hear me talk about balance throughout all of my classes because that's what's really this is about. Keep your mind on the sensations. Keep breathing deep inhales and complete exhales. Keep feeling, connecting to the sensations so that your mind doesn't go elsewhere, so that you stay here and now present. And you probably notice that the sensations now are different to the first cat and cow because there is an evolution in our practice for each pose or each movement that we do. The beginning feels a little more tense. We gotta go calm, gently. As we approach the middle of the experience, things start to shift and we can make any modifications like going a little deeper, noticing how you can broaden, modify a few things. And as we come towards the end of the experience, we've reached as far as we can, gently, safely. We don't aim to do the splits or handstands. That does not make us more advanced yogis. It's about really feeling the tension being released. When you feel the tension, we keep working on it, and then there's a moment when we feel like we're done, like you, Valerie. Now that you came out of it, something told you it was time to come out of it, and so listening to yourself is so important. Modifying, making those changes, but making a mental note. I need to stretch my legs, my knees are tight, my hips are tight. We keep adding those to our list so that we could keep working on them. Let's all come back to neutral. So we've been working on the spine. As we said, the spine is the main central line of energy. I'm going to move backwards because I'm going to start lifting my arms. So look at me first. We're going to inhale, as we just did, the arms around and up. We bring our hands together. At the top, reach your shoulders as much as you can. Top of the breath. On the exhale, we bring the hands back down. Gentle movements. Make sure your spine is long and spacious. Inhale, arms up. Feel the movement. Exhale, the hands down. Close your eyes and now notice what your body is telling you. Inhale, the arms up. There's no rush to get there. On the contrary, when we move slowly, we're able to pick up so much more. The experience is so much richer. Few more times, noticing the shoulders stretching, warming up, noticing maybe they start to get a little tired, especially when we move slowly. We actually work the muscles a little bit more. That's why yoga is typically practiced slowly. We keep scanning, we keep studying ourselves. What is your mind telling you right now? Are you ready to stop? Are your shoulders starting to give up? A few more rounds like this, really on the breath. Make your breath be the guiding principle. The breath leads, the body follows. Whenever you think you're done, you are done. This is not a competition. You don't have to do things like me or like the other people in the class. This is your yoga practice. Whenever you need to take a break, you take a break. Now that we've done this for about almost 15 times, can you notice which muscles start to get tired? And notice your mental reaction when your muscles get tired. When things get challenging, we breathe even deeper. To calm the nervous system, to calm the mind, we breathe deeper. Because often when we get scared, when something doesn't feel right, we start to breathe shallow and just to the chest. One more time, keep your arms up, lift up, ground your seat as you lift your arms up a little bit higher. On the exhale, we're going to twist towards the left. One hand outside the thigh, the other out on the hand on the floor or on the prop behind you. We stack the spine, still ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. On the inhale, lengthen the spine a little more. On the exhale, we twist towards the back. Using the ribs, the shoulders, and the neck, any amount. Inhale, lengthen the spine, hold the twist. Exhale, twist a little bit more. We're trying to twist on the axis of the spine. Last breath here. Inhale, stack your spine, stack the vertebrae. Exhale, twisting any amount, feeling the twist in the ribs, the abdomen, the shoulders. Yes, you're fine on your bolster, yes. This is still fine. And ask any questions anytime. That's why this is a workshop where you're able to ask anytime, anything. Inhale the arms up like we did a moment ago, high prayer. Exhale, twist towards the other side, hand outside the thigh, the other on the floor or bolster behind you. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the spine. So Valerie, I think you're tilting a little bit too much towards the side. Yes, keep yourself vertical. On the exhale, twist any amount. As long as you can feel some twisting, you're already doing the pose. It's not about bringing ourselves this far or that far. It's about feeling. Am I feeling a twist in the in the spine? Am I feeling a twist in the ribs, a stretch? Then that's as far as you want to go. Deep inhale, lengthen the spine, stack your vertebrae. Exhale, twist using the rib muscles, the shoulder muscles, and the neck. The hands are just gently supporting the twist. They are not creating the twist. Next, inhale, lift the arms up high, prayer. Exhale, bring the prayer down through the midline. All right, we're gonna go for forward fold. So let's grab bolsters, cushions, everything you have. We're just gonna place them on our legs or on the floor in front of you. And we're gonna fold. So Valerie, if you have more props, that's gonna be better. It's just gonna be easier because we're gonna fold. And Dawn and Casey, you know how many bolsters you need or none at all for you to bring your head on something. So we lengthen the spine. You can use blocks, you can use cushions, you can use anything, even a folded towel or blanket. And basically the idea is we're gonna bring our hands on the floor. I'm gonna go sideways so you can really see me. And we start folding with a long spine. So we lengthen first, and then exhale, start bringing your hands forward any amount, trying to keep your spine long because this is a lower back and hip stretch. Then we try to bring our chest, our ribs a little bit lower, maybe lowering our elbows on the cushions or the floor, and then bringing our forehead onto something. So let me show you how you could do that. We can make two fists with our hands. So Valerie, look up for a moment. You can make two fists and then rest your forehead on top of it. And really feel like you're hinging from the hips. It's not about bringing our head to the floor. It's about bringing the belly, the abdomen, and the lower ribs a little bit lower. So we're really hinging. It's not about rounding. It's about hinging. There is a subtle difference, but you should be feeling this mostly in your lower back. We all relax our shoulders. Relax your elbows. Allow yourself to surrender into the pose wherever you are, however deep or however low, it doesn't matter. It's about feeling. So again, review what we've talked about today. Yoga is about bringing us back to balance. Physically, it helps us to release tension in the body, tightness. It helps us to lengthen the muscles, the connective tissue, and strengthen the body. Through repetition, our muscles become stronger and stronger. And that's the physical body. Energetically speaking, it's not just about the prana, the energy, it's also the nervous system. Calming that nervous system and the mind. Connected with the physical body. When your mind is calm, there you go, pile those up, Valerie, and relax. That's it. Finding that form that works for you while still protecting and respecting your limitations. We all have limitations. We all have conditions. That's just part of our physical existence. When we practice mindfully and safely, we're able to gain a lot from this release of tension to bring us back to balance. Slowly push yourself back up. We're going to change the crossing of the legs. So bring the other foot in front and then fold forward. Once again, hinging from the hips. Slowly coming forward mindfully. Yoga is a journey, not a destination. So study yourself through the transition and then bring your forehead onto something. So we combine breath work. Are you still breathing equal inhales to exhales? Like we did at the beginning of class, can you breathe into your side ribs and your back ribs? Because it's a little harder to breathe into our chest and belly when we're folding forward. So we learn how to breathe into the side ribs and the back ribs, relaxing the shoulders as much as possible. This is part of releasing that tension. This is stretching from the hips, through the muscles, along the spine, to the neck and shoulders. It's also calming your heartbeat, and it's calming your nervous system. And that, as a result, calms your mind. But if the mind becomes too calm, the monkey mind comes in, and you start thinking about anything else other than yoga. So can you continue feeling, connecting to the sensations? That's the meditative element, the mindfulness element. And this is a practice, training. Our minds check out very easily. When you don't feed the mind with stimulus, the mind starts to stimulate itself. So we want to practice staying focused and coming back to the breath, back to the sensations. Sometimes for beginners, maybe you can stay for 10 seconds, 20 seconds without having a thought or an image in your mind. As you keep practicing, maybe you can hold it for 30 seconds, maybe for a minute, maybe even longer as you practice. And some days, even seasoned meditators and yogis, some days just 10 seconds and then the monkey mind kicks in. So it's about accepting what is Slowly push yourselves back up. We're just going to roll the shoulders a few times. Valerie has tight shoulders, so let's roll some shoulders. Inhale the shoulders up towards the ears. And then exhale, bring the shoulders back towards the midline of the back. Exhale, completely lower the shoulders down. On the next inhale, bring the arms forward to bring your shoulders and your shoulder blades further away from each other. Top of the breath, reaching the tops of the shoulders up. And we continue like that. On the breath, we inhale the shoulders forward and up. Exhale the shoulders back and down. Keep that long spine. Don't lose your spinal alignment. Few more rounds. Probably hearing some clicks and some pops. I am hearing it. This is so good for releasing tension, strengthening, and also lubricating our shoulder joints. Can you make these circles big enough so you feel the stretch, but not so big that you actually start to feel it becoming injurious, painful, risky? Knowing that balance. Let's change the direction of the shoulder rolls, the shoulder circles. On the breath, inhale in one direction, exhale in other direction. Now close your eyes and feel this. We really want to bring everything together. The movement, the mindfulness, and the breath. Few rolls, applying all three. Feeling, breathing, moving. One more circle. All right, lengthen the spine. Bring your hands together at heart center. Lengthen, relax the shoulders. Lengthen the spine, top of the breath. Close your eyes, bow the chin down, but keep lengthening the back of the neck away from the base of the neck. And one last body scan together. Can you notice the shifts, the changes that have happened in our time together today? The breath, the mind, the body, coming back to balance, releasing tension. So we thank ourselves, we thank our bodies, we thank that energy, that force that made you come to class today. That force, that guiding force, that voice that is beyond your physical and mental existence. So set the intention to carry this more balanced state that you've developed throughout your day, throughout your weekend, so you can share it with others as well. Slowly lift the head back up. There's always something we can learn, and practicing yoga with a beginner's mind can really open up experiences. So it's not because you've heard it before that it's no longer valuable. On the contrary, we always have a chance to learn something new. Have a wonderful weekend.